Hello everybody, let's make some more crafts together. You know, it's fall, it's November, it's getting dark sooner, and I started thinking about what I used to do as a kid with my sister when we'd be like cooped up inside and our imaginations would start running wild, and one of the things that we loved to do was put on puppet shows. Have you ever put on a puppet show? And I got to thinking about how there's so many different types of puppets. So we're gonna make a few different types of puppets together. Then you can be as creative as you want. You could choose to make all sorts of puppets like characters in a Bible story, and then you could do a puppet show for the Bible story. You could create your own story out of your beautiful imagination. You could do a story like Cinderella or maybe the Three Pigs. The possibilities are endless with what you can do with puppets. And so I'm going to show you some unique puppets that maybe are different than the ones you typically think of. Because I know when we were kids, we would make them out of like a brown paper bag, right? Maybe you've made a paper bag puppet, or maybe you've used an old sock and done a sock puppet. Well, these are some different ones, and we'll see what you think. Mine turned out a little funky, but that's what makes it fun. That's when our imaginations really get to take off. So I'm going to move our camera down here and show you my workspace. Now at Walmart and most stores, they have like in the craft section, they've got a kit you can buy that's just all sorts of funky doodads. They've got pom-pom balls and googly eyes and pipe cleaners, all sorts of creative stuff. And I think it's only about $5 for a kit of just creativity. And that's what I'm using for most of our puppets. The first one we're going to make is pretty simple. I'm going to have you start out by just cutting a pipe cleaner in half. I cut a pipe cleaner in half. I'm just going to twirl it around my finger. I'm going to twirl it around my finger, and we're just making finger puppets here. Twirl it around, and then there's the base for my puppet, right? There's the base for my puppet. Now I'm going to pick out a pom-pom. Oh, how about purple? Purple and yellow like the Vikings. Yes. All right. I'm going to use some glue here. Mine might not stick in the amount of time that we're doing here, but I'm going to put some glue on my pom-pom. And I'm just going to stick it on there. And then I'm going to do the same with some googly eyes. Now, maybe this is just going to be a person. Maybe I'm just going to have them be a person, but I could also make them an animal. I could make ears or wings. I could make it look like a butterfly. There's a lot of different things you could make here. I'm just going to grab some googly eyes. You could use some felt and make them a body, or even some construction paper and cover that up if you wanted to give them clothes or a body of some sort. Oh, my eye just drooped. Let me grab it without spilling glue. So this is just one really, really simple. Look at that. Look at my little finger puppet. I didn't do anything too fancy to him, but it could even just it looks kind of like a caterpillar. So you could do a caterpillar, and look at it. You can just tell a story with your finger puppet. I'm going to show you a couple other ones that I made here. Let me see. I'll just put them on all my fingers. This one, I don't know. He kind of turned out looking like a ladybug because of the black and the red, kind of like a ladybug. But I tried to give him like some wings maybe. So there's those. And then this one, he kind of looks like maybe a dragonfly. He's kind of got, I don't know, are these wings? Are they antennas? I don't know. That's just kind of creativity for you. But look at all my little finger puppets. Whoop, and my glue isn't dry yet. All right, so I'm going to set him to the side so that he can finish drying. But that one's a really easy one. All you need, pipe cleaner, googly eyes, pom-pom balls, but also there's a lot of things you could do. You could use construction paper instead and use like a popsicle stick. Lots of possibilities, but those ones are kind of fun and easy for just wrapping around your finger. The next one I'm going to show you, I'm going to use a clothespin. So imagine this, the clothespin, when I open and close it, that's the mouth. That's the mouth. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take some construction paper. Let's pretend that we're going to make a tiger. I've got a canning jar lid because I wanted to draw a circle here. And so oh, that pencil's not sharp. I'm just gonna trace inside here to draw myself a circle. And then I'm gonna cut around that eventually, but there's my circle. And then if I wanted this to be a tiger, what kind of nose does a tiger have? Just kind of not much of a nose, huh? Not much of a nose. And then his mouth with maybe teeth. Should I give him some teeth? Maybe he's roaring. And then I'm gonna cut around him, and then I'm gonna use a marker. So I'm gonna cut around my circle. Because what this is we're looking at our person or our animal from the profile, from like the side of their face, because then we get to show their mouth opening and closing when we make our puppets talk. Okay. Okay, so there's my circle. Now I'm gonna give him a googly eye. And glue that down. And then we gotta give our tiger some stripes, don't we? So we're gonna make this one really simple, and then I'll show you the other goofy ones I made. So now we're just gonna give him, we gotta give him like, maybe this is instead gonna look like a person. This might look like a tigery person. But if I give him some stripes here. I'm gonna trace around some teeth. And now, here's the goofy part. Here's the goofy part. Okay, so again, these ones are silly puppets. That doesn't really look like a tiger. That just looks like a goof. But what we're gonna do is I am gonna cut him in half through the mouth. Cut in half through the mouth. And see how I did that? Through his mouth. I cut it in half because now, man, maybe he looks like a fish. I don't know. He could be a new creation. Now I'm gonna glue the top of him to my clothespin and the bottom of him to the bottom part of my clothespin. This works a little bit better with hot glue. So if you have a hot glue gun, or maybe ask an adult for some help, because the hot glue gun is hot. But I don't know if this is gonna stay on long enough for you to see. But do you see how I glued the top half? Here, I'll show you like that. I glued the top half onto the top part, and now I'm gonna have to let this sit flat. But look what happens when I open it. It's making him talk. So I'm gonna let this one sit flat, and I'm gonna show you these other goofy ones I made. So this is a good goofy puppet one. All right, here's my person. Look at my person. Look at that. And then I just pinch on my clothespin, and that opens their mouth. So what do you think my hair is like? What do you think? Is this like hair, or is that a bow? I just tied some yarn on there. But I gave eyelashes and freckles. I mean, we can make all sorts of fun creations. Then here's this other one. This one's kind of like a bird or kind of like a fish. I don't know. Again, this is where we get to be creative. Look at that, like glub, 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 glub. And I put some yarn on there again. And I used a googly eye. So on this one I drew an eye, and this one I used a googly eye. This one kind of looks like a fish, I think. I'm thinking more fish. But look at, we can just make them talk to each other and tell a whole story. You could make Bible characters. You could make all the animals. You could tell whatever story you wanted to. All right, so that is just by cutting a circle in half, gluing it to a clothespin, and then that's where the mouth is so that they can talk and they can just be kind of fun and goofy and a lot. Oh man, I thought they turned out kind of weird, but that's what makes it fun. That's our imaginations at work. The next one is a paper puppet, because sometimes we don't have paper bags. Because paper bag puppets, I remember making those at school, but I didn't have paper bags at my house, and I didn't really have them a lot as a kid. But did you know you can fold the same kind of thing with paper? So again, I've got my piece of construction paper, and I want you to pretend, right, where would the middle be? I'm not going to fold it because I don't want to crease, but I could even just look at, that's about the middle. And then I'm going to take my long side and I'm going to fold it to around the middle. And then I'm going to crease it. Okay, so I folded it to the middle. Now, I think I'm going to use a glue stick on this one. I'm going to put a little bit of glue here to attach this because my glue stick will dry faster. I'm going to just put a little bit of glue. And then I'm going to take my other side, whoop, if I can pick it up, I'm going to fold it past so that it covers up my glue. I'm going to fold that past, cover up my glue, and then flatten that out. I'm just going to kind of run my marker over there to make it smush into the glue. Okay, so now I've got something like this, and then the middle's like that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over, okay? So my glued side, flip it over, and now I'm going to fold it in half this way. Fold it in half this way. So it's going to get a little bit stiff, so it helps to have like a marker to press down to give yourself a really good crease. So press down, give yourself that crease. Okay, so I folded that in half, so now we look like this. We kind of looks like a camping tent. All right, and my glued side is on the outside. Now the final step is we're going to make it look like the letter M, and here's how we're going to do that. On this side, so look at this. Here's my creasy side with my glue. I'm going to fold this up to here. So from there to there, and now we're going to press down with our marker and not knock the camera over. Then I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. So here's my open side. Flip that up, fold that up, and crease it with my marker. And do you see how that makes the letter M? So there we go. Now it looks like two camping tents side by side. But look what this did for me. What this did is it gave me space to make a face and a mouth. And on the back side where we glued, look at this, I've got a pocket for my hands so that I can decorate my whatever I want this to be. Okay, so what do you think? What should we make him be? Maybe we'll try for tiger again. Okay, so I'm going to draw some stripes. And maybe I can use some more construction paper and I could make him ears. And I can be as creative as I want with this. But let me put some eyes on here. And a nose, maybe like a cat nose with some whiskers. Do you see how that's coming around? And then my eyes are different sizes, whoops. All right, I'm gonna add some more stripes. And then I could take extra construction paper. I can give him some ears. I can give him some teeth on the inside. I'm going to show you some other ones that I made. But look at this. Now I can make my tiger talk to you. All right, by using the pockets in the back for my hands. And he says, man, you gave me two different eye shapes. All right, but I'm going to show you the other ones I made. Okay, so here's the first one I tried to make. This one's another type of a cat. So see how I gave him ears? I gave him ears by I cut out triangles and then I just folded it over and glued those on the top. So there he had some ears. And then I gave him a tongue for when he yawns really big. And there I just glued that inside. So you could give him teeth in here. You could just give a tongue, whatever you wanted to do. You could give the little dangly thing in the back of our throats. You can be creative with it. And then this one I thought turned out kind of fun. I made a shark. Look at this. So I used googly eyes on him, and then I gave him his little fin, and then look at his chompy teeth. And so he's saying, remember to brush your teeth. But look at, there's my Mr. Shark. So you could be creative, make whatever you wanted. You can use all sorts of different colored paper. You could use white paper and make people. So many possibilities, but all it takes is just folding that paper so that you get that handhold in the back. And I'll show you how that paper got folded one more time. So we fold, we look for the middle, right? We mark where our middle would be. We fold our one side to that middle. We give it some glue. I'm not going to glue this time because I'm going to use this paper for something else. And then we fold our other side to cover that glue. Then we flip it over. We fold it in half. And there's our tent. Now we got to make the letter M. So now I fold it up and press, and up and press. And there you've got your pockets in the back, and you've got your mouth in the front, and you can make whatever. Man, this kind of is like the color of a Lego person. I could make a Lego person and have them be a puppet. All right, so that's how you fold that paper to make all the puppets you could ever want. All right, and our last one's even weirder, because I was thinking about how there's those puppets, you know, those marionettes where you can make them move. And I was like, man, how would you do something like that? And I started thinking about pasta. All right, noodles, right? So these are ziti noodles, because I was looking for noodles that I could put on a string, but that would be kind of straight. And so, but you could use macaroni noodles. You can use whatever noodles you wanted. Now, here's the thing about these noodles. I can paint these. I can make them any color I want, which is super cool. I don't have time to show you how to paint them and let them dry, but you can take my word for it. You could lay out a bunch of noodles on some newspaper or scrap paper, and you can paint them and let them dry, and then they become part of your puppet, your marionette. And here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna use a pipe cleaner. What I'm gonna show you is how I would make like the skeleton of my marionette first. So I took one pipe cleaner, and I cut it in half into 2 pieces. And now I'm gonna give myself legs and arms. All right, so legs and arms. Now for the rest of my body, I'm gonna take this pipe cleaner, I'm gonna like loop it around here. I'm gonna twist that on so it stays. So now he's got a body. And then for his arms, right, twist the arms around so that they're on. And then here's my neck where I could put my head. Okay, so there's what my skeleton looks like. Now I'm gonna undo that, and I'm gonna put pasta on. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna put a noodle on, maybe just one noodle. I'm gonna put one noodle for the leg, and then I'm gonna kind of twirl this around so that it doesn't fall off. Do you see how I kind of just twirled my pipe cleaner and made kind of a foot? And now I'm gonna do that on the other side. And I'm gonna twirl my pipe cleaner up and pinch it around, and then he's got a foot. Whoop, I just kind of poked myself with that pipe cleaner. Okay, now I'm gonna give him some body. All right, he's gonna kind of have short, stubby legs. All right, so now I'm gonna give him the body. See, how tall should he be? One more noodle? Nah, that's probably about right. Otherwise, he's gonna look kind of funky. Okay, so now I'm gonna twist my arms on. And now I've got to give them a pasta arm. So one arm, now twist my pipe cleaner around and pinch it so that he has a hand. And now do that on the other side. Sorry if you can't see this very well. And then I'm going to pinch this around. So again, like imagine how you could have painted these pasta things. Now I'm going to give him a neck. This would probably be better if I had done like 2 pasta for his legs, because otherwise his neck is the same length as his legs, but that's okay. Now what I really wish I had was a big bead, or like a big wooden bead. Remember like the wood ones we used when we made our manger baby Jesus? Because then I could like put a bead on here for his head, and I could like draw on the wooden bead. But if not, I'm just gonna twist this around. I'm gonna twist that around, and we'll give him a pom-pom head at the end. All right, but there's my little puppet man. And then I could give him, well, since we're doing red, I'm just gonna put that on. And there's my little man. Then what I would do is you could make, oh man, you could give him a cape and make him like a super person. You could give hair. You could give different clothes if you painted, like imagine if I painted from here on down the pasta blue so it looked like you were wearing blue jeans, and maybe the top I painted yellow, like a yellow shirt. So many possibilities. Then I would take string, and I'm going to show you this on one that I already did because it kind of takes too long and our video is a little too long already. I'm going to take string and I'm going to tie it to his arm, and string and tie it here, and string and tie to his foot, and tie to his foot, and tie to his head so that there's string hanging off of it. And then I'm going to take all of those strings and attach it to popsicle sticks. And that's what this looks like. Do you see how I took that? Do you see how I glued 2 popsicle sticks across from each other? And then I just used tape. You didn't have to do a fancy knot or anything. I taped the strings on. And this one looks a little scary if you ask me, because I put too much pasta. Look at this. I put too much pasta, so he looks a little, or she looks a little spazzy. But here is my other one that I made. And I put googly eyes on, and I drew a funky smile, and I tried to give hair. But you can make whatever you wanted. But then, see how I tied these strings on? I just looped it through those hands. I looped it through, and then I brought those strings. They like to get tangled. But I looped those strings up, and I taped them to my popsicle sticks up here. And then you can really just you can make them dance. The other thing I thought was you could make these to be animals, right? Like you could figure out, how could I twist, like look at this, with my person or my animal here. If I twisted my arms down like this and my legs down like this, and maybe my head up like this, that's not sticking on well. But look at this. This could easily also be an animal. And then I could tie my string here. I could tie my string here and then attach it to my popsicle sticks and walk them across. All right. So this one's kind of funky, very different, but still your imagination can go crazy, and who knows what type of crazy concoctions you're going to make out of that. So 4 different types of puppets, some pretty easy, right? Little finger puppet, that's pretty easy. But you could still tell some fun stories with that. Then we've got our clothespin puppets. And you can practice being a ventriloquist and see if the sound doesn't come out of your mouth, but from over here. And then there's our paper puppets, where you could make all sorts of people or animals. And then there's our pasta puppets that you could just leave like this. You could attach with string and make them like a marionette. And man, I am so excited to see what you could come up with. So if you do any of these puppet crafts, maybe even put on a puppet show, a Bible story, 3 Little Pigs, a story of your own imagination, I would love to see a picture of what your puppets look like. You can send those pictures to dakotachildrensministries@gmail.com. Man, this one was fun, and I hope that it's something that will be fun for you as it's getting dark outside, it's getting colder, winter is coming, but there's still so much fun we can have using our creativity that God has given us, even when we might be stuck inside. I hope you have fun making your puppets and doing your puppet shows, and I will see you next time.